I am Neil Kapoor, and in today's video, I'm taking a slight detour from the hardcore HR aspects to an important business issue that faces all of us right now. In the present COVID-19 scenario, it is important to look into how the business needs to sustain and grow while this pandemic is dealt with. In India, this 21-day shutdown began from the midnight of March 24th, and it has involved closing of workplaces, shutting of most public transport systems, shutting of the educational institutions, severely stopping the movements, public gatherings, and the government has been advising everyone to stay at home. India, a country of over 1.3 billion people from diverse backgrounds, different economic conditions, and mindsets, faces its own set of challenges in this regard. The pandemic will require that the businesses relook at their business strategies, not only for medium and long term, but also for the immediate time to sustain the business. All of this without affecting the people who have helped the organizations reach where they were just before COVID-19. Some big organizations as well as some small and medium enterprises, they are toying with various ideas. Maybe some ideas like retrenchments, cost cutting, or other innovative thoughts to decide the future path. The employees who have been working from home are also stressed as to what their organization's management will decide as the future course of action. There are many questions running in the minds. Some of these fundamental questions are: 1. How will my business grow? And what is that single most important factor which will help me in building my business? 2. What are the risks involved and how do I address them? And 3. How am I engaging or will engage my people to make them execution oriented? Well, there are many things which need to be dealt with. These are really tough times for businesses as these are for the employees. But as the title of a book by Robert Schuller goes, tough times never last, but tough people do. I am sure we will get through with this as well. There are many things which can be done to handle the situation. A few strategies that I suggest for the business owners, entrepreneurs, and the business management teams to continue from now till the COVID-19 wanes off would be: 1. To protect your human resource assets, your employees, and follow all the orders that the government states. Remember, it is the people who make an organization. Organizations should ensure adequate liquidity. Check with your team. How many quarters can you sustain if the economy sinks? What are the plans to handle contingency? What changes are required in the business continuity plan? And in case if you do not have one, make one now. Do we have a plan to pay the statutory taxes and dues in a timely manner? What needs to be done to pay the timely salary to all the employees? Next, organizations need to look at the terms in the contracts to excuse its non-performance for the non-fulfillment of contractual obligations. The companies need to look at terminology in their contracts which may be interpreted to include the COVID-19 outbreak as the excuse from non-performance. 4th, review the rights and obligations which have been mentioned in the agreements for logistics and the supply chain, which would get revived to mobilize the business post-lockdown. 5th, offering incentives and discounts to your customers will help business remaining closer to them now and later. Sixth, relationships with the clients are important to the business. It is time to empathize with them as they too are feeling the heat. Seventh, explore and plan diversification of your offerings after the pandemic. While doing this, remember to keep your customers, employees, stakeholders, and yourself in mind in that order. Be cautious not to wander off to an unknown territory or getting into an unrelated stream of business. COVID-19's impact on the global economy is already hitting it hard. Some of us can work from home, but India has millions of people, the daily wage laborers, the shopkeepers, and others who do not have that option. There are many repercussions which the businesses will go through. One such example is that the Japanese automotive paints company Nippon Paints India is preparing to close its sales office in Mumbai, as reported in the Business Standard. Some companies are opting to reduce their warehouses, even if it means a slight delay in delivering the products. Some companies are so surprised by the success of work from home that they are planning to ask their staff members to keep working from home, or maybe to explore some co-working space. Anyways, either of these measures will save high rental costs that go in the offices. There are some pointers which can help you reject the business strategy which you might want to consider. Let me just enumerate them. Number one, focus on forces of change. As a business leader, you need to focus first on those forces of change which could have high levels of certainty and predictability on the markets, consumer behavior, and value propositions in which you are operating in. For example, the economic, regulatory, digital, consumer behavior, and competitive reactions. These can be some of them. 2. Create a new standard operating procedure or SOP. Once we get through this phase of COVID-19, the businesses need to devise a new SOP, which should include the health and safety as an essential component. Look at the present SOP and make the necessary changes. One such change can be installation of thermal scanners in the factories. And maybe another one can be to look at the components or the parts that you have in the pre-start checklist. 3. Capitalize on the success of work from home. With the success of the work from home, it would be important to include the flexibility in working. For smaller offices, the businesses might explore the option of work from home to reduce the amount that is spent on the office rentals. Though it might not be possible at all the locations. However, at some locations, it would be worth giving a try. 4th, analyze your offerings. The market post the lockdown period would require that the businesses start to analyze the trends. Though this is not something new. However, which products that your business is dealing in saw a rise in demand and which one saw a fall would be essential to study. For example, due to the closure of schools, the demand of online tuition classes, homeschooling, and school equipment would see a growth. Or search for gaming consoles like Xbox and home entertainment like Netflix has started to rise already. In a contrast, the online fashion retailers, they are losing out. 5th, explore and include digital modes. Corporate leaders were already struggling with the digital transformation and its pace and scope of disruption. With COVID-19, it has added fuel to fire. Most business managers, leaders, and entrepreneurs have been busy in video calls and emails to rework the business strategies, Relook at the digital marketing like PPC or pay-per-click budgets, improving the organic visibility, being useful on the social media by creating customer communities and finding ways to enrich people's lives. Sixth, evaluate your supply chain. A clear understanding by the leader about your supply chain will help you in exposing any potential vulnerabilities which might be there. Begin with the most critical products and look beyond the first and second tier suppliers. Reach up to the raw materials if possible. For example, if your products contain a component which are coming in from a country that becomes isolated, is there a secondary supply that you have? Is there a make in India alternative which you can consider? There has been the case of suppliers in China turning to South Korea as an alternative plan, only to see that the country also became infected. Seventh, identify potential failure points. Identify the role holders on whom the business critical processes or services depend. Is there a pipeline of role holders to step into these critical roles? Shared service or call centers are vulnerable. Can you take any steps to reduce the level of human interaction? Explore remote working or maybe staggered shifts. Eighth, reassure your employees. Most of the organizations are trying to keep the employees informed. However, the market of rumors, disinformation, and confusion, this has grown at a much faster pace than the coronavirus. Reassure your team members that the business is prepared and they will be protected. The two basic things from the leaders which is required right now on the communication front is 1. To be consistent and 2. To be accurate. Ninth, look for automation and localization. In manufacturing, it might be worthwhile to invest in designing some machines which would increase automation to impact the productivity. With huge numbers of migrant workers shifting back to their home locations, it would be a cause of concern for the organizations employing them. If these social distancing norms, if they are here to stay for a longer period, it might help in maintaining and increasing the productivity levels. Though this might come at the cost of employment levels, but as a business leader, there are tough calls which you would need to take. 10th, relook at employee engagement. Exploring innovative modes for employee engagement and learning and development, it is a must. Virtually promoting the transparency and collaboration among team members, especially in the work from home scenario, that is important. There are organizations which offer some online tools to promote the same, or maybe some websites to promote the same. Explore them. For learning and development, with the MOOC, which is massive online open courses, gaining importance, it would be an apt time to get the strategy implemented for your organization. Maybe you can get a motivational speaker to address your staff members virtually through a video and have a small session. Initiate a survey to get to know what is it that is running in the minds of your employees. That is something which is gonna help you. 11th, conserve cash. For the moment, the key for business sustenance is to conserve cash. Review the sheets and stop all the non-essential expenses. One strategy which might help would be to postpone the cash flows. Be sensitive to marketing costs as the customers are busy fighting for survival. With the frequent changes in the markets globally, review the foreign exchange very closely. We know that the time is tough, but what is important right now is stay calm and hope for the best. In these tough times, the government is taking all steps to revive the economy as well. In a recent development, there is an ordinance which is being brought in by the government to stop the new insolvency cases for 6 months, altering the sections 7, 9, and 10 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. I would like to end with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., which states, "But I know, somehow, that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars." Thank you for viewing the video. Please share this with as many contacts so that you can help in the increased awareness. It's a good thing to share knowledge. It helps in growth. Subscribe to the channel Neil Kapoor, and all the best for the times to come. God bless.